Hello and welcome to another episode of Tiksu to UniTartu. Today we're joined by two foreign Estonians, Sten and Thomas, and we're going to learn a little bit about what it's like to be a foreign Estonian and come back to the country and study at the University of Tartu. So maybe we can start with Sten. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah. So my name's Sten. I'm 27. I moved to Estonia in the fall of 2017. And I studied from 2019 to 2023 in the Economics and Business Administration program.
Awesome.
Currently, I work at Nasdaq Tallinn, which for those who don't know is the Tallinn Stock Exchange. And during my time in Estonia, I've gone to the army here for 12 months, actually 11 months. Felt like 12. And my little brother joined me here halfway through. And actually the initial reason why I came here was to do a intensive language course.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for the first, from 2017 to 2018, I decided to come here, do an intensive language course. Mm-hmm. I really wanted to learn how to speak Estonian, and it was a perfect opportunity. I had done my first year of university in the States, wasn't really 100% sure that it was for me, and I wanted to do something a little bit different, get out of my hometown. So it was a perfect opportunity. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
What was your language level before you went you came to Estonia to do that course?
Oh, horrible. It was like 1, 2, 3. I want ice cream, or something like that. It was terrible.
Okay, great. And Thomas, could you introduce yourself?
Yeah. So I'm Thomas. I'm now a fourth-year medical student at the University of Tartu. Like Sten said, I also came to Estonia, but I came a little bit later.
Mm-hmm. Do you think your brother influenced you a little bit to come over here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I saw that he really enjoyed his time when he was here. After high school, I didn't exactly know what I wanted to do, but I kind of realized that I want to get to know my roots more. I want to learn Estonian. And previously I hadn't learned Estonian, so I just thought what an opportunity it would be to come and learn and be with my brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
And try something new. Yeah.
So, I mean, this is kind of like, for me, it's a unique situation. I'm from the U.S. as well, and I've never met, Estonians like that have the Estonian heritage that are living in the U.S. Could you guys tell me a little bit about your family story, your heritage?
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to add, Thomas, it's really strange that you didn't know what you wanted to do at 19. It's really weird.
That's strange.
Most people know.
Yeah, so. Most people know exactly.
So basically, our family story is very similar to a lot of foreign Estonians. It's very closely related to World War II, where Estonia was caught between Germany and Russia, which is not a great place to be, especially in that time.
Yeah, absolutely.
But basically, one side of our family stayed here, our mom's side, and on our dad's side, our paternal grandfather left Estonia in 1944 and ended up in Germany, met a German woman, and they got resettled in the UK, where my father was born. And in the 1980s, at some point, this was actually before the fall of the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
And this is a long story. We probably don't have time for this, but
no, we love it.
Our mom's family ended up getting a visa to leave the Soviet Union, which wasn't very common.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, and this was actually right before my uncle's 18th birthday, where he would have been conscripted into the Soviet army. So they were quite lucky, and actually the way my mom and my dad met was. In London, there's this place called Speaker's Corner. Thomas, is it Speaker's Corner in Hyde Park? Something
like that. Yeah.
Some place where people go and talk a lot about politics. And there was a very fiery communist speaking, and my mom went up and was actually telling that person her experience in the Soviet Union. And my dad's sister heard that my mom was speaking in an Estonian accent, invited her to lunch where she met my dad.
Wow, that's quite a story. Yeah. And I wanted to ask you guys, so did you guys speak a lot of Estonian at home, or
Pretty much none.
pretty much none?
Like Sten mentioned earlier, yeah, we knew like tere and aita, but other than that, it really was pretty much absent. And then Sten actually took the initiative at a young age and asked our mom to teach him Estonian.
Wow, that's great. And having explained your background, having that kind of, I don't want to say misplaced family, but I guess in a sort of sense, what traditions have you guys, has your family kind of held on to from being Estonians?
I would say that we not really too many in our household. Like our mom made a lot of Estonian food, for example.
Yeah.
Through the Estonian community in Seattle, we would celebrate jaanipäev, the summer solstice.
Yeah.
Every summer, which was really fun. There, also during Christmas, the Estonian community would make verivorstid, which is the black sausage, blood sausage.
Yeah.
But not really too much, I would say. Yeah, Thomas, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the same was mostly. I think our mom showed us the traditions through her cooking.
Yeah.
Made like the classic, like potatoes, the classic dessert rosamanna.
Yeah.
And yeah, and kotletid, or like meatballs, I guess.
That's the stuff we still remember.
Yeah.
But I think she talked to us a lot about Estonia and the history. And also we would come back every summer and a lot of our relatives, almost all of our relatives are Estonian. So that was actually where we had the main connection, is coming back to Estonia for a month every summer. And in the States, in terms of extended family, we don't have anybody. So our extended family is either in the UK and Germany, and most of them are still in Estonia.
So basically, when you first moved to Estonia, you had a lot more support just because there was more family here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now I wanted to talk a little bit about your guys' experience in the U.S. and maybe, talking about being Estonian to other people, your traditions. Do you think that people in the U.S. really know a lot about Estonia? Maybe Thomas, you could hit us with it.
In short, not really. No, out of my friends, pretty much nobody really knows what Estonia is. When you tell them, "Oh, I'm going to Estonia," they just hit you with the like, "What is that?"
Yeah.
And especially you notice when you go out and talk to people who you don't necessarily know immediately, and not your close friends, then pretty much 0% chance that they will know what Estonia is.
Yeah, I think it's funny when I told my dad I was coming to Estonia. He's like, "That's part of the Soviet Union, isn't it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, Dad, that's."
What year did you tell him?
This was in 2017 also when I came here.
What, your dad thought the Soviet Union was alive and well in 2017?
Sure did.
Beautiful,
actually. So I'm glad we've rolled over that now. Could you maybe tell me a little bit about some U.S. traditions you guys like really enjoy, and do you guys still keep them up here living in Estonia?
Yeah, I really like the 4th of July.
Yeah.
I think in the States that's one of the most fun holidays that you can have, with the fireworks and barbecuing and good weather. It's definitely one of my favorites.
It kind of feels like to me it feels like a jaanipäev without explosions, or with explosions.
Yeah, and if you want the bonfire, then you can make it. Halloween, it was one of my favorites. That's celebrated all over the place these days, here as well. Thanksgiving isn't celebrated here.
It's kind of hard to find a turkey too.
It is hard to find a turkey. You can replace it with other things and have a meal.
Yeah.
I have had some Friendsgivings here, which is really nice.
Yeah.
I think it's a cool tradition. But yeah, 4th of July, Halloween, Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and those are kind of like a little bit more globally known, I guess, in some sort. But it's nice to bring those over to you. And what about yourself, Thomas?
I'm not to be boring, but I have to agree. I don't think there's too many other really fun holidays, but yeah, I like what you said about the 4th of July resembling Jaanipäev.
Yeah.
Because it really, I mean, you have good weather, you're barbecuing, you're swimming.
Yeah, you're just missing your Uncle Jan and you're good, right?
Exactly.
Awesome. So I wanted to ask you guys maybe a little bit more about, let's say, the like society, how people act. Did you guys face any culture shocks just in the way Americans act versus Estonians act when you moved here?
Yeah, one of the funniest things that I remember when in the States, when somebody's asking how's it going, you typically respond with, it's going great. How are you? Any other response triggers worry in the other person that, you're not doing too well.
Yeah.
Here, normalna. How is it going? And people respond normalna.
Yeah, normal. I'm okay.
And that's like nice.
Yeah.
You're doing well if you respond normal. Or how is something normal? Normal is fantastic. People are more understated for sure. But I think that's something that almost everybody brings up when they speak about Estonians or anybody from this part of the world, be it other Baltic countries or Nordic countries. Also, to be honest, in Seattle, where we're from, the climate isn't too different, and people say that your disposition can be influenced by the climate, and people from colder climates are more introverted than people from warmer climates. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't say in Seattle that people are necessarily more outgoing or extroverted than in Estonia, to be honest. Maybe at the store, some like fake
if you're
stuff.
But they famously call it the Seattle freeze. People are just cold and kind of.
I didn't know that. It's much different for me in Chicago. Like people love to yap. They'll come up to you and tell you what they like about you, what they don't like about you. It's a little bit shocking. And one thing for me was kind of like shocking is, when you go check out in Chicago, the person will be like, "Oh, you have a pizza? Oh, I love pizza. That's my favorite brand of pizza." And here, people are minding their own business. So I do appreciate it a little bit more in terms of people keeping to themselves a little bit.
Yeah, I think I've lived here for 8 years or something now, and I notice myself taking on liking I guess becoming more Estonian during those years, where I'll go to the States and I'll go and check out, and if somebody's telling me that that's their favorite pizza, it sounds kind of lame for mine, but I don't really care.
No, you don't.
yeah, and it's you can have this it's not really even banter. You can have this back and forth, but it doesn't necessarily give too much. And actually, my first job was at a grocery store when I was 16 in the States, where I was bagging groceries.
Yeah, and here you have to do it yourself.
Yeah, I know. Booking my next flight back. Actually, that's a good point.
Well, before you do that, I wanted to ask you guys, like, maybe when you first came here, how'd you integrate, before you really had learned Estonian? Was it hard to integrate, or did you kind of feel a little bit more at home, like, given your heritage?
I think at the beginning, compared to maybe other people who haven't been to Estonia every summer and kind of know the culture and have been here, it was a little bit easier, but learning the language, knowing the language is the biggest thing that you can do to make yourself at home here. For the first year, I just did the intensive Estonian course like Sten did, and I didn't really have any Estonian friends, because if you don't speak Estonian and you're not kind of around Estonians, it's kind of hard to integrate into the society. But after doing that and then going to the military, and then finally learning Estonian to a good enough level where you can kind of have banter and talk with people, then you finally kind of it becomes way easier, and you can talk with people and make new friends. And
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
How about for yourself?
Yeah, I would say so. In my first year, when I didn't know Estonian too well, I knew it to the point where I could order something in after the Estonian course or during the Estonian course, where you can have simple conversations. And for people coming here, especially to Tartu, there's so many foreign students and people in the same situation, where you won't have a problem finding cool people. But if your plan is to stay in Estonia for a longer period of time, and even the time, let's say your bachelor's is 3 years and then you want to do a master's 2 years, you will gain a lot by learning Estonian, even to, I would say, a B2 level, where you can have a decent conversation with Estonians. Because the thing with international students is that everybody's from somewhere and everybody's going somewhere. So if you end up staying, then it's not a given that your friend group will stay the same and the people will stay in the same location, especially if they're from university. So for me, integrating, like with any country, it's crucial to learn the language, especially if you're planning on being there in a longer time frame. It's also really rewarding. I think Estonian's also a pretty cool language. It's hard, but I mean, it's cool.
Like I'm still learning, and I get warm and fuzzies when I overhear something or I eavesdrop on something, and I'm like, okay, I'm starting to get it, you know. But I will say, like, there is a huge international community, as you mentioned, and it's nice to have those people. But you're right; they do kind of cycle out every 3 years, 2 years. You're gonna find a new friend group, and that's a little bit difficult, you know, if you're planning to live here long term. Something I wanted to touch on is you guys both mentioned you did military in Estonia. Could you maybe tell me a little bit more about that? Like, what is your were you required to for a citizenship, or how did that work out?
So all Estonian males or 18 citizens who are males from 18 to 27 are required to do either 8 or 11 months of military service. Technically, we wouldn't have had to because we weren't on the conscription registry, being born outside of Estonia. However, I've always had an interest in the military to some extent, and also I thought it would be an adventure. I'd been in school. I was 19 when I went. Turned 20 right after I was in there, and so we wouldn't have we didn't need to do it. But 1, I was bored of school. 2, I wanted an adventure. 3, I was very serious about learning Estonian to a really good degree, and even doing the intensive language program, I had a lot of international friends and didn't find myself speaking Estonian as much as I could. And also, I think Estonia has given me an opportunity to get quite a good education for a lot less than it would cost in the States. Many times less, and also really, really good education. And also, I think that everybody can contribute in different ways. And I guess, it felt like a thing a responsible person would do, But it is a given that I was interested in that stuff. So, with Thomas, what about you?
Well, so the first year that I was living here, I had no interest or no really idea that I would go to the military. But I lived with my brother, and then my brother's friend who went to the military with him. And I they talked about it a lot and would kind of reminisce together and say, oh, we were in the woods and we went through these hard times together and we did this exercise. We were in the woods for a week or a week and a half. And I just thought that sounded amazing. And really interesting. And I also had never done anything like that, just been in school. So one day I remember I signed up for a doctor's control. And then I showed Sten, I was like, I'm going to go to the doctor's control. And I think we were a little bit surprised, but then I called my mom and she was not too happy, but definitely worth it in the end. Learned Estonian, had great experiences out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, I think you definitely have a different, grasp on Estonian, doing kind of working on it instead of just doing the language course where it's hello, what'd you have for dinner? Actually using it as working language in the military. Did you guys ever consider going to the military in the U.S.?
No. I'm not against it, but it was a much bigger commitment where you have to sign for 4 years.
Yeah.
And, I honestly, when I joined, I thought, if I like this, I may make this my career. Mm-hmm. And I was about 8 or 9 weeks in when I was just like, absolutely, this is important, but I don't think this will be my career.
Yeah.
I think maybe that being an officer versus being a conscript, there's different thing. It's two different things, and
Definitely.
yeah. So maybe being an officer would be cool, but being a conscript for your whole life as a career would be not very good.
Not fun.
Yeah. So maybe we can shift gears a little bit more and talk about your studies here at the University of Tartu. So from other places you've studied, maybe high school, or if you did some college in the States, what would you say is different about the University of Tartu from other places you've studied?
I suppose I talked about this with Sten earlier, but one of the main things that we've noticed, and also we've heard this from our mom, is that in university here, you're with the same group of people for the whole time, and especially for me, because in medicine, you're in the English course is in two groups, and it's two groups of, I think, like 11 to 14, depending on the year. And so you're with those 11 people for the first 3 years, and then you're with a group of 7 or 8 that you choose for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
So you really, really spend a lot of time with these people, and they become really, really good friends.
Yeah, I would say like the difference for me is I also did business administration here, and having that small group, maybe my class was 22 people, but you actually learn how to bounce ideas off these people because you're seeing them so often, and work together as kind of a group to accomplish, maybe even though it's individual, you kind of work a little bit as a group, you study together, and I think that's kind of the difference for me. But what do you think, Sten?
So Thomas, actually, his only university experience has been here at University of Tartu, which I think is a great school.
That's great.
But as I previously mentioned, I did 1 year of university before I came to the University of Tartu. And that point, so we were on the quarterly system. So every 3 months you would have a new group of classes, and people would switch out so frequently that you wouldn't forge the types of connections that you forge when you're with the same people for 3 years. So
Absolutely.
that was also my experience when I came here, and I think is very nice. Also, in the United States, my experience was that in the year I was there, everything was so politicized in my university. It was really nice to come to the University of Tartu and just come to study what I came to study. And there wasn't any sort of political tension in places that it shouldn't be, which I think anybody who has been to school in the US will know exactly what I'm talking about. Also, I have to say the cost to quality ratio here is very, very nice.
Absolutely.
Where you're paying lots of money for a college degree in the States unless you're on a scholarship or unless you're playing sports. And it's not necessarily for most state schools, I would say. Well, it depends, of course, on the program.
Yeah.
But the quality of the education I got here for the cost was fantastic.
No, definitely. And I know that a lot of people in the States go into debt to go to school, which is usually not the best way to start your professional career.
No.
Yeah.
And one other thing that I would say I noticed. So when I went to school in the States, it was in a larger city, and studying in Tartu, which is completely a student city, a university city, is completely different. Where you feel like a local after a very short amount of time. Everything's so concentrated. So you'll see going out, you'll see a lot of people who you know.
Exactly.
Everything's so accessible. Whereas in a big city, it doesn't. The feeling isn't the same, and the connection isn't the same.
I would say even just the difference between Tallinn and Tartu. I feel like it's a lot bigger, and you don't feel that quaint kind of community, I guess. Yeah. But what would your experience be, Thomas?
My experience has been fantastic, I have to say. In the medical program, there's a large proportion of Finnish students, and so I would say that they have their traditions already kind of in place. They bring from Finland, but they're also very welcoming, and so they do most of the events in English and will like have the letters both in Finnish and in English. So they're very welcoming, and it's been great.
So you're telling me you learned how to sauna?
finally learned how to sauna after being in Estonia and having Finnish friends. I may have mastered the art of the sauna.
Great. Awesome. Now, what would you guys say is your just favorite thing about living in Estonia, just in general?
I guess I can go first. So the main thing for me, especially about Tartu, is that I guess I love the spring and the summer. Just it's amazing. You go swimming in Emajõgi, you can grill, you can have a nice time in the sun, but also just the fact that it's, like we were talking about earlier, it's so concentrated. So you can bike anywhere, you can walk anywhere, and if you want to go hang out with your friends, give someone a call, 5 minutes, walk over to their house, 10 minutes, walk over to their house. It takes the friction, and there's pretty much no friction when you want to go hang out with someone and meet up. But let's say you're in Seattle and we have a friend who lives like a neighborhood or two away, and it takes like 40 minutes by car if there's traffic, and that's just...
Then you have to have a designated driver also. If you're going to drink, you have to figure out the whole logistics.
Or pay like $80 for an Uber.
Yeah.
You try bar hopping, but between every bar, it's an $80 Uber.
Yeah. That's like the taxi service. Yeah. So as we're kind of winding down, running out of time here, I wanted to ask you guys each one more question. What tips or what would you say to a foreign Estonian looking to maybe connect with their roots and come back to Estonia?
I would say if you're adventurous, if you want to get out of your comfort zone, if you're interested in learning the language, then definitely do it. There's nothing to lose. Living in Tartu was extremely fun. And over the years, since I moved to Estonia, Tartu has literally only gotten better in terms of the development, in terms of the facilities, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. But the important point here as well is the languages. If you come to Estonia, and also if you have Estonian roots, you probably have a little bit higher motivation to learn. Yeah. And if you put in the effort, then it'll be very rewarding.
Yeah. Okay. And Sten?
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. So definitely if you have that want to learn the language, then it's a great place. But also, like we said, you'll have a great time either way. So even if you're not 100% sure and you maybe don't know if you want to put in all that effort to learn the language, you can still come. You'll have international friends. You can maybe dip your toes and take one Estonian course, see if it interests you. If not, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
You'll have a great time. Enjoy. And Tartu, there's so much fun.
Yeah. And also I had in my first year when I didn't speak very well, I had Estonian friends as well who wanted to be, there's tons of Estonians who want to be part of an international friend group and show you places around town or take you out, show you places outside of Tartu. It's definitely not like you will be socially isolated 100%. That's completely not the case.
Yeah, I think when we talk about it, we just kind of express a little bit of a difficulty, but there are people that want to show their culture. They want you to experience stuff with them as well. So I really appreciate that too. Well, that's all the time we have. So thank you guys so much for being here and taking the time to be with me. And this has been Tiksu to UniTartu.